Heidi ho, my crafty friends. This is Lori at the Ladybug Journals. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. Today has been one of those days. Have you ever had one of those days where, you sit down to do something and 55 other things start going on, and by the time you get around to it, half your day is gone? That's how my day's been. So I started out making this video at 9 o'clock this morning, and here it is, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, I say we get ready to roll. So, we are going to start on a garden journal, and we're going to use this little book. Now, it just has finally come to my brain that you probably can't see what I'm doing, can you? And it's an old Reader's Digest book, and I picked it. The only reason I picked it is because it's this really pretty green, and I'm probably going to cover this part here with some fabric to add a little more support. Maybe not, I don't know, but I like the inside cover too because it's really pretty. But I just thought it was nice for garden. And so what I'm doing now is I'm just taking I'm using ink. I'm using archival ink, and I'm using the espresso color, and I'm going around the edges. This is going to be my hidden spine. And I'm going around the edges with my blending brush. Because I don't want to add fabric to this, but I also don't want this to be, just to look like a piece of cardboard. And I have 3 colors that I'm going to use that are ink. I'm using my ground espresso, my vintage photo, and I thought I'd add a little pop of peeled paint to it. I'm not going to do the whole thing in ground espresso because that's a little dark. So, and then I have these little mixed media stencils that I thought I would use. And I have this little tree that I like. And I also got out some stamps. So I think I'm going to put this little tree right here that's got all the little branches on it. There it is. And I'm going to use my vintage photo. And I'm going to use that on these trees right here. And I'm trying to hold it really still. And I want to extend it up. So I want to keep moving this up. Like this. To make make this tree look a little taller. To kind of give it a little shadowy look. Just a little one. Kind of like that. Make it look like it's going up. And then down here at the bottom, I'm scooting it over just a smidge. Just a smidge. Not a whole lot. You all know what a smidge is, don't you? For those of you that have little southern grandmas, y'all should know what a smidge is. And if you don't, well, I don't know how to explain it. A smidge is a smidge. That's about all I can tell you. Okay. So I used my ground espresso, and I made the other ones just a smidge darker, to look like they were, well, to look different. And I'm going to do the same thing up here, except I'm turning them a little bit cockadoodled. Now, I'm not making them real dark. I'm just kind of, just doing my thing, girls. Just doing my thing. And it might just look, like a stinking mess when I'm done. But, if it does, it does. You're not really going to see a lot of it. There. Oh, that tree looks like he's got a broken arm. That's all right. We're going to give him some bubbles here in a minute anyhow. So I think I'm going to use this one right here. And I'm going to start up here at the top. Now, I'm not going to use this blending brush because it's covered in brown. And I don't want brown. I want my green blending brush because I want to pop that green a little bit. So I'm going to get out my blending brush that I've used for greens. And if I can't find it, well, by golly gee whiz willikers, we'll just start a new one. Because, you can wash these. Did y'all know that? You can wash these. So If you have 3, have 1 for brown, 1 for your colors, and maybe 1 for blacks, you know, or dark, really dark colors. Then just go wash them. I use shampoo to wash mine. Or the soap that I wash my brushes with. You know, my paint brushes. There. See, I just wanted a little pop of green on it. That's all. Just a little pop. Like I said, you're not going to see a lot of this because, you know, the signature is going to be on it. But I didn't want it to be naked either. Yeah, I didn't want it to be a little naked one. And after the last one we did, I had a really good time doing this. So I thought, I might want to do that again. So I think I'm also going to do some little swirly burlies right here. No, maybe not. Maybe I want to do some, where'd those little polka dots go I just saw? Here they are. These little tiny polka dots. I think I want to do some little polka dots. Just throw in some little polka dots. Just something to fill it up. That's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of filling it up a little bit. You know, not really making it look like anything particular. There we go. See? It really doesn't look like anything in particular. Now, I'm going to... Come on, get on there. Now, see, I can wash this one, and I can wash the browns. And I can put this away. Now, the stamps I got out, I want to use my favorite butterfly. But now that I'm looking at it, I might use this one because it's got a little more going on. Just has a little more going on, and I might use that one instead. Now, wash these. And now they got all their sticky doodle back. And on, whoops, come back here. And on these, oh, I gotta grab that cart. Remember I told you that little cart wanders? Well, he's wandered. All right, so let me get a wipe here to wipe off my stencils real quick. Since it's ink, I don't want that ink to dry. Let's put this up here. Let's put that up there. See, the ink's already dried on there. And I'm not too worried about it. It's just a little stencil. Not going to hurt anything. I'll still take it in and, you know, put it under the soap, but you have to be gentle on these that have cutouts, though. See, I've already nicked that up, so do be careful when you wash them. Okay, now let's put that out of the way so I don't nick it up anymore. Now, this little book isn't going to be just about flowers, because any of you that have followed me know that my gardens consist of flowers and herbs and vegetables, so this is going to kind of have a little bit of everything. I might even throw in some bees here and there, maybe some, now let's wipe that goop off the back. You know, maybe some butterflies, you know, because, well, my gardens have all that stuff in them. And, you know, gardens are fun with all that prettiness in them. So, but it's just going to be a garden in general. So I thought that would be fun to do. And after the day I've had today, I thought I need something pretty. Now I'm wiping up all the mess I made underneath my little mat. So bear with me for a second while I get all that mess cleaned up. Okay, so I need my stamping square. So let's put this on there. And let's straighten that back up. Let me make sure I've got you where you're supposed to be here. Okay, I do. And I have a couple of new techniques I want to show you that I've learned over the weekend. Now, get on there, little man. I think I want to use, do I want to use that, or do I want to use, there it is. Here. I'm thinking I might want to use the black. Let's see. I want this part. Okay, so it's going to get the first part of it. Now, I don't know if I'm getting those letters very well, but let's squish it down here and make sure. Let's make sure. Well, I got it on my hand. I'll go to fix dinner tonight and have ink all over my hands. My husband always knows when I've been in the craft room. Okay. Now, let's see if I can get this on here. Now, I'm not too worried about the very bottom. It's kind of in the middle that I want it, because that's usually where I see things. But not smack dab in the middle, and not smack dab at the top. You know what I mean. Kind of, well, you know what I mean. I told you I've had a day. And I've got this that I want to use on it. Okay, now let's see how we did. Did we get it? Oh, we did. There. Now looky there. Isn't that pretty? I like that. Now, let's see if we can get that little butterfly. I want that little butterfly and that part up toward the top. So I need to wipe this off real quick. And I'm trying not to get my cords here because my cords have fallen. Let me hook them back up here. Yeah, see, I told you, it's been a day, you guys. It has been a day. And most likely you can see them in this video, unfortunately. Because every time I touch something, I'm knocking it over today. All right. Now, let's wipe this off here. Because I don't want that part. But at the top, I want this side of it. Okay, I want the butterfly, and I want that. And I think I did get a little bit on the butterfly. So let's get that wiped off. Let's get that cleaned off here. So I know where I'm starting. Okay. So I want this to go up here. So let's see, how much do we need to go? So I need to stop, it looks like. Okay. All right, I just need to make sure I get the butterfly. Over here. I want that. Now, you know, it probably would have been easier if I just got out the small stamps and did it, but you all know I'm not normally one that does things easy way. Now, I don't want this bottom part. And I think you might end up seeing my head here for a second. And I don't want it down here. Okay? But I want this. I want that right there. Now, let's see if we got it where we wanted it. If we did, we did. If we didn't, okay, well, we didn't. Let's put that back in there. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, well, I didn't get everything I wanted in there, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it, because if I keep trying, I'm going to mess up what I have. But I do want to get this wiped off. Okay. There. Well, that's not too bad. There's going to be a hole in there anyhow, so I wouldn't see that spot anyhow. So let me put that back down there and stick this back in here. Well, that's not too bad. That's where a signature is going to be sitting. Right where there's not a piece of the stamp, that's where a signature is going to be sitting. So that's not too bad. All right. I hope you guys have had a good day today, and I hope that you hope that you're a little more organized than I am right now. All right. Let me put these brushes down here where they belong. All right, you're going to get washed. You can be put over here. Now we're going to use our, what is this here? This is Luster Wax, and it is called Gold, and it's by Sizzix. And this is the stuff that smells. It smells really good. I know I'm probably not supposed to be sniffing it, but when you open it, it smells like fresh oranges. So I think you all have seen me use this before on one of our other journals that we just made. And I just kind of rubbed it around and added a little bit of oomph to it. And I thought that's what we would do to this one, since it's going to be a exposed spine. You know, just kind of make it a little different. For those of you that didn't get to see it the first time, this is how we did it. Now, I do highly suggest that you have a wipe or a wet paper towel or something to wipe your hands off after you use this, because it will get everywhere. Let me just tell you that again. It gets everywhere. Now, I'm just taking what's on my finger and just rubbing it over the top of this to try and get a little bit of it off my finger. And as you can see, it's kind of rubbing out everywhere on here. Because it gets every place. I thought I got it off my finger after we made the last one, and I didn't have it all out from my hands. And oh my gosh, I had it on clothes. I had it all over my table. It gets up under your fingernails, so make sure that you've got something to wipe your hands off with really well. Okay, so I'm going to wipe my hands off here. Now, and this does take just a couple of minutes to dry, so I always just sit mine aside, up out of the way to dry, which is what I'm doing now. I'm sitting it up here by that little light that you all saw. And I'm going to put this over here away on my little spinny. I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend and you've had a great day so far. I'd like to welcome all of our new subscribers. Over the weekend, we surpassed 800 subscribers. Can you believe it, you guys? Can you just believe it? I couldn't believe it. I was stunned. I was just stunned. Okay, I think I got all the gold off of me anyhow. Now, I thought we would do these signatures a little bit different than what we have done in the past. Oh, I don't need you. I don't need you. Just to be different and just to try something different. So normally we take our signatures right about now and you know, we check them in our book, see how they're going to fit in our book, and make sure they're where we want them, make sure that they're, you know, good size for the book. And you know good and well that even though the book looks a little smushy right now, if I were to let it just go like this, which is how it's going to look by the time I'm done by the time I'm done decorating it, it's going to be more like this. Because you all know how I decorate. 3 signatures is plenty for in this book. Now, how I knew what size to cut them was, I took a page out of the book. I just took a page that was in the book, and I used it. See, this was a page that was in the book, and I used it as my template. So that's a good way to determine the best way for cutting your pages. Just take one of the pages from the book and use that as your template. It was quick, it was easy, and I was done. But what I thought we would do was, when we got ready to put these in, and then I cut them. Now you can see a couple of them are still a little bit too big. Not going to worry about that this time. I'm just not even going to worry about it. I don't care. But before we put these in, I wanted to decorate that. And then I thought, I need to add a little bit of support to this. You know, just to make it a little bit sturdier, because that's going to be pulling on this old spine. Now, this particular book that we're using is from the 70s. Now, I remember the 70s. I don't know about all of you, but I remember the 70s. I grew up in the 70s. I know I'm aging myself. I should not be doing that. But I grew up in the 70s. So, to me, that's not very long ago. You know, but I want to make sure that this isn't going to tear this. Because this is the second book that I have tried to do this with today. The first one, this spine in here was so brittle that by the time I got ready to put in this piece that we just made, this was literally falling apart in my hand. So I want to add in here something to add some support to it. So what I thought we would do before we even added that was add some cheesecloth. Now, you don't have cheesecloth? Don't panic. Add some fabric, add some paper, add whatever you have. I just happen to have cheesecloth sitting here on my little cart. And I use cheesecloth in my garden all the time. So I thought, oh, that's perfect. So I thought I would add a little bit of cheesecloth. Now, a good substitute for cheesecloth is gauze. So if you can't find cheesecloth in your area, go to the pharmacy section of Walmart or whatever pharmacy you happen to have in your area and find gauze. You don't want the gauze that is has the stuff where it's non-stick, the Teflon stuff on it. You just want plain old gauze, okay? Just plain old gauze. So read your packaging. You don't want Teflon coated gauze. That's the stuff that doesn't stick to boo-boos. You just want plain old gauze, okay? And then bring it home. Make you a cup of tea, make you a cup of coffee, whatever you're going to dye it, whatever color you want to dye. Use Easter eggs, use whatever. And plop that roll in there and just let it sit. Now, when I dye mine, my gauze, I just put it in with when I'm coffee dyeing paper. And then I put it outside just as a big bunch like this. I floof it out like this. And as long as it's not raining, I let it sit like this on my patio table. And it can sit for hours. But I put it on a cookie sheet because I don't want all that good stuff to drip away. So you don't have a cookie sheet, put it on aluminum, put it on a plate, put it on one of your dinner plates, put it on something like that to keep it, all the good stuff from dripping away. I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this. Oh, no, I'm not. That'll keep all the good stuff from dripping away. And then just let it sit there. As long as it's not raining, as long as you're not getting snowed on, that will work just fine and dandy. Okay? And then just let it dry. Now, you can go out throughout the day and you can floof it around if you choose. And, make sure that the color is distributing like you want the color to distribute. Totally up to you. But I just let mine sit there. And one pack of gauze will give you a lot to play with. as well as 1 pack of cheesecloth. Now you can find cheesecloth in your kitchen area in Walmart. So if you don't, if you don't have a Walmart, then you can use gauze. And you can also find gauze in Dollar Tree, Dollar General, places like that. So you do have options that you can use. Okay, so I am going to use this because this is what was normally used on the back of our signatures. And I'm just putting down a layer like this. And I just put glue right down the middle first. That way I could cut it. And hopefully I won't stick to my scissors. And now I'm going to cut the size that I need. And I can trim it more after I get it glued, but I got to get the big hunk of it off of my table. There we go. There. Now, what I want to do is I want to take these edges and I want to bring them over to here. Now, I don't want this to go up all the way, so I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. I don't want it sticking out the top, and I don't want it sticking out the bottom. Now, if you want it doing that, you go for it. But I don't want it doing that yet because I'm going to add these. I took these off the original pages, and I'm going to put these up there. But right now, I need to get this glued down the rest of the way. Okay, and I'm just using my finger, tapping it into place. And now this is going to have to dry really well. And it won't take long. I'm just using my Fabri-Tac on it. It won't take long to dry, but it is a little messy. So just be aware of that. Don't do it in your good clothes. Don't do it and then tell your husband, yes, dear, I'll be ready to leave in just a minute for dinner. Because trust me, you won't be. Okay, you want to make sure that it goes down. Use your bone folder and make sure that it's going down right here. Okay, so you want to bring your book up and you want to fold it and you want to bring it in. Just tuck it all the way in. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And you want to make sure you have a paper towel to clean off the tip of your glue bottle. Now, if you don't have Fabri-Tac, that's okay. You can use whatever glue you have. The important thing is it has to be glued down well. Okay. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to tuck it in. Whoops, almost glued that in there. There we go. Now, anything I have left, I can choose to either leave it hang out or trim it off. Okay, now I want these to go up here. Now, you've seen me do these before. Okay, let me wipe this off. There we go. I gotta wipe this off here. Now, you have seen me glue these before. Now, you have a choice of where you want to glue this. You can, on the original book pages, if you've ever looked when you take a book apart, these are actually glued on the back of the signatures. They're glued. I'm looking for the signatures here. Here. They're glued to the signatures like that. Not the book. They're glued to the signatures. So if you want, you can actually glue them here. Which, you know what, I think we might do. I think I might do that. I think we might do that this time. And now I'm just going to let this sit and dry flat. And I'm going to glue this to the back of here. Now there's two of them. So anytime you take a book apart, if you have these, save them. And then you can put these back on. I save them every time I take a book apart. because I really like them. Okay, so there's the one at the top. And that little rolled edge is the top piece. Okay, your book doesn't have one? That's okay, make one. You can make one with lace, you can make one with ribbon, you can make one with whatever you have. See, there's a little rolled edge right here of stitching. That's the part that sticks out. And I've made them with lace before. I've made them with ribbon. I've made them with, I've even made them with, what is that called? I've made them with gauze, and I've also made them with, burlap. Burlap. I've made them with burlap. There. Okay, now I'm going to let these dry. Oops. Okay, so now they're stuck to the back of this. Okay. And now this is dry. So I can determine, oops, that one's not quite straight. Let's get that one straight. And he needs to come up a little bit. Get up there. Let's make sure this one's up straight. Let's make sure they're where they're supposed to be. There, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to mark where I want my signatures on here, but I'm going to do it on the back, because if I tried to put dots on here for where I want my signatures to go through, I would lose them. You know me, I'd lose them in a heartbeat through all the stamping and the inking. I'd lose them, and I'd have a terrible time trying to find them. So I need to wipe this off here real quick before all this dries on here from me poking into that glue. Now I've still got my book drying flat. I've still got this sitting here flat drying. Where I put that in there, I want it to dry flat. Okay, and I'm just getting the glue off of here, because when I go to use it again, I don't want it to be all sticky, because then it'll stick to something. And that's not going to help, is it? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put my dots on the back of it for where I want my signatures. All right, so I'm going to move this over to that very messy table I showed you the last time, but I'm going to keep it flat. All right, it's still sitting flat. Now, let's get some of these little papers out of the way. Okay, now let me see if I've got you. I do. Okay, good. Now, how much time we're here? 30 minutes. All right, we're doing good. So I'm going to move this all the way down to my bottom line, down here. So that I know I'm straight. Okay. Now, the last time we did this, I need a sharp pencil here. Here, I'll just use my red pencil so you can see it better. The last time we did this, I showed you the way that I normally do these. And it's quick, it's easy. It doesn't involve a lot of crazy measuring. It doesn't involve a lot of hipping and hopping around. And you just do it and you're done with it. Okay, so this spine, if I measure this spine, it is 8 1/4 inches long. Well, half of 8 1/4. I'm not even going to pretend I know what half of 8 1/4 is off the top of my head, because, I'd have to get out my calculator. And it is 2 3/4 inches wide. Okay. So I know, let's see, I need to go this way first. Let's go this way. Now let me make sure you can see me. This bad boy needs a bath tonight. Okay. All right, so right about here. Oops, let me move him down. All right, so right about here is my center. Okay. Right about here is my center. Now, where's my little ruler so I can show you? Now, I have my little ruler here so I can show you. Because it's easier than trying to look through this with this great big one. Well, maybe not. Okay. Oops. I guess you're going to just have to tolerate my big one because I can't find the little one. Right about here, I'm going to call center. Okay. Now, whether it is true center or not, it makes absolutely no difference to me. It actually looks a little bit high for where I would put it. So I'm just going to erase it. And I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And I'm going to say I want it right about there. No, actually I don't. I want it right at 4. So right here's going to be my center line. My center dot. Right there. Okay? And then from there, I want my next one right about... Now, I do want them to be straight across. I know that. I do want them to be straight across. So, I line my ruler up at 4. And I come out to right about here. And I want one there. And I want one here. Now, to make sure that I'm even halfway straight, I draw my line. And then I make my dots a little bit bigger so I can see them. Okay? And then I come up here. Now, I like to come down at least an inch, sometimes a little bit more from the top. Not all, it doesn't always have to be that far, but for me, I'm going to come down to here from the top. Now, I need to make sure that my line is straight. And I'm drawing a straight line across. And now for my bottom line, I already know where my inch is because it's right there. And it's going to be right there. Okay? And then now you're just watching me create right now. You're just watching me create la-di-da. This is how I do it. This is how I do it, ladies and gents. This is how I do it. You can look at any of mine and see this is how she does it. I do it, I poke a hole, I move on. If it works, it works. And that one's crooked. Oh well. If it's crooked, it's crooked. I don't worry about it. Okay. There are my holes. I'm done. I didn't have to fold a paper. I didn't have to do anything funky dunky. I just folded the paper. And if I'm doing something that's just a paper journal, it's a little bit easier than that. So there we go. So now I'm going to take my signatures. These are my signatures. And they're being held by a paper clip. So I'm going to put that paper clip up at the top. Okay, because I don't want it in my way. Okay, and I'm going to put them in the order that I want them in my book. I want this one in the middle, this one in the front, just like that. And then I'm going to put a big paper clip. Okay, I'm going to make sure they're all together. And then I put a big paper clip around them like this. That holds them all together. That way they don't wiggle. Now, I haven't moved that. Now, I'm going to have to move this up because you're going to see my head here in just a minute. Let me get my pencil. Okay, and I line these up. Now, let me apologize in advance. You're going to see the top of my head and maybe even my barrette. So if you do, I apologize. Actually, I do need to move it in a little bit. And I have to stand up too. Okay, so I line these up top to bottom with this. Okay. Just like that. Right against that line. Hold them flat. And I'll take my pencil and I run it straight up the pages. Just like that. And I'm trying to keep my head out of your way so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, now before I unclamp them, I pick it up and I make sure everything has a mark. And I think this purple one might not have a mark all the way. Or if it does, I can't see it. There, now I can see it. Okay, right here, it didn't go straight. Right there. And right there, it got pushed crooked too, somehow. Okay, right there. Okay, I don't need that. I don't need that. Now I can take this out. Now I'm going to need a couple of paper clips. Now I'm going to open this up to the middle. Now before I do anything, I'm going to make sure everything's in the right order that I want. Okay, now this one I want scooted down just a little bit. Just like that. Now let's go to the middle. Okay. I put one here. Now, make sure everything is where it needs to be. You know, snug into the center and put one here and then flip it inside out. Okay? Flip everything inside out. Now, I just use my little awl. I find my holes and I poke them. And I know they're little holes. I know they are. I'm going to make them bigger. But right now, at least I know everything's lined up. And I lay these flat. And I do the same thing with all of them. And these are my big journals. These are my great big journals. Make sure everything is flush in. Now this is going to be the hard one to see because this paper is so dark here. And these are magazine pages, pages from, there's, you know, book pages. Like this is from a flower book. This is from one of the Reader's Digest books. I just taped two of the pages together. There's coffee dyed paper. This is from another flower book. There's a poetry book. This is from another type of book. This is from a book, a gardening book, you know, where they sell bulbs and stuff. So there's different types of book pages in here. Okay, so again, I'm going to just poke the holes through. But by poking my holes, I know it lines everything up. Okay, now that's number 2. Now, you all know I always start with number 3. So this one, turn it this way. Okay, I need my paper clip there. Oh, everything moved. I can't do that one. Squish it into the middle. Just hold you down. Now let's flip it. Okay. Okay. Now that's number 3. That's the one I'm going to start with. Okay, so hold on just a second. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to punch your holes using this one. Okay, so from the side, you can only do it from the side. You go into the side, you line up your holes, and you punch. Okay, this is for those of you that don't have a big bite. You can still do this. Okay, and you punch. See? And then you turn it around and you do these 3. Now, through the top, can you see through the top of my hole there? You can see the little dot I made. That's why I made the dots so dark, so I can see them. There. And now all my holes are punched. And I just did it with my regular Crop-A-Dile. Okay? PJ's very excited. Now I have my regular awl. Now I'm going to come back and make my holes a little bit bigger because I want to make sure my needle can go through them. And I'm going to quickly try to get these, at least get one signature in for you. When we come back, I'll have all of them in for you in the next video because it's all done exactly the same. Okay, so to sew them in, now you take your thread and you go 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 times the height of your page. Okay. Now you want a needle that'll go through the paper, but not that'll make your hole that much bigger. Okay, so you don't want to use a needle that's massive, but you want a needle that's big enough that will hold your thread. Does that make sense? And you want a blunt-eyed needle. You don't want a needle that is that's sharp. And don't panic if they look like that one. You know, that they're off center. It's okay. Don't panic. And I always start from the left and work my way over. And for me, this is the hardest one to do, is the first one, because this little thing flops around on me. Now my cover's still sitting over here drying, waiting on us. Okay, so I've come all the way down here to the bottom. Now, if you want to use your Crop-A-Dile to punch your holes in your paper, you can. You can most certainly do that if you choose. I have done that many times. So you want to make sure you have a thread on each side of your center thread, and you want it to be as even as possible, like this. And you want it to be snug like a guitar string. Hear that? Okay, before you tie it, check the back. Make sure that all your threads are in the same row. And then you want to tie left over right. And I never do this right. And then right over left. And then I always do another one right over left. I mean left over right. Okay, now you can take off your paper clips. Now at this point, I'm backwards. I sewed it in backwards, I do believe. Oh, no I didn't. It goes this way. Okay, so I need, yes I did. I sewed it in upside down. Look. No I didn't. No I didn't. Okay, so I need to make sure that I tell all my pages. I need to come in and tell all my pages, this is where you live. This is your home. So behave yourself. Have manners. And see, they're not all going to be straight because my holes weren't straight. See? They're not all going to be straight because my holes in my paper weren't straight. And that's okay. I don't have a problem with that right now. Now you would do the same thing with this bunch of papers. And if this really is bothering you, then fold up your paper and punch the holes again. Take this, go right back through the middle, and get them into the center. Center them. See if you can't get them centered better. Okay? That's the best way to do it. If that is really bothering you, then do that. Fold them over and get them more centered, like that. And then this one is my center page, so I'm going to sew it down here. And I'm going to sew it the same way I just sewed this one. Now, after you get all of them sewed in, you have one last chance to trim all your pages so they're even. Okay? So when we come back in our next video, I will have all of my pages sewed in, and then we'll go from there. So I want to thank you one more time today for joining me and for all the new subscribers that we have. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed our adventure today and that, and that you are going to join me on this fun exploration into the garden and having some fun and going to learn some new things with me. And today we learned how to use our Crop-A-Dile to punch holes into our spine. And I have some other fun things to teach you and a new YouTube channel to introduce you to. She's brand new, but I think you're going to love her. And that's where I've learned this new technique I want to introduce you to later on. And I will make sure that you get to see her. Because I just think you're going to love her. And I also think you're going to have a lot of fun with me doing this because I have just been so excited about making this. I actually wanted to make this in December, and then it got so stinking cold here in Pennsylvania. It was like, I don't know. I'm not feeling much of a garden right now. So I decided to put it off, and it's like, okay, I can't put it off anymore. I just can't do it. So that's why we're doing it now. We are doing it now, you guys. I just can't handle it any longer. We have to do it now. So, yeah, I'm getting all my gardening books in the mail. That's why we're doing it. So, I hope to see you again in our next video where we play again in our new garden journal. And we create and we have some fun. And until I see you again, ta-ta for now.